What is up, everyone? Welcome to the UnderDog Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Nolan Skian, alongside Antonio Fiore, Salestrina. Gentlemen, how the heck are we?
Cold.
It is cold.
Couldn't be colder.
Could not be colder.
I mean, are we talking football or real life? Because I picked
Both.
every single game wrong last weekend. Every single one.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
Yes, I did. I had Packers. I had Broncos spread.
Bucks,
I had the Bucks.
Vikings. You had the Vikings for sure.
I had the Vikings. And I had what was
the
the other game?
Chargers. You had the Chargers and the
I had
Steelers.
the Chargers and I had the Steelers.
Jesus, man, that's not good.
Damn. Dude, the Packers losing broke my heart.
I don't think they were ever in that game, to be honest. Like that
I
game
actually
just
think
felt
the
like
opposite.
Dude,
I think that was a very winnable game. They just could never get anything. After that fumble on the first, like on the kickoff or whatever, like that just set the tone for the rest of the game for them, I feel like.
Their defense played very good most of the night.
Yeah.
Both
Very
defenses
good.
played very well. Both defenses played extremely well in that game. I was very impressed with Philly. And Green Bay's defense has been hit or miss all year, but for them to come out and play like that against Philly, that was pretty. A.J. Brown had like 2 catches for like 20 yards or one.
Yeah, A.J. Brown and Saquon really didn't. I mean, Saquon had his moments, but like really not as like dominant of a performance that we would probably expect from the Eagles.
Yeah,
but
Jalen Hurts had like 50 yards passing through 3 quarters. Like you're not.
yeah, so I think like I don't know, just Green Bay also couldn't get anything going. So like I do feel like that was a very winnable game for Green Bay if they were able to like take charge, but they just never could.
It was a weird game. It was one of those games where it's like nobody can get anything right on offense, but the Eagles.
There was 2 things that I think really ruined the game for them, and it was the fumble on the kickoff and then the touchdown they gave up right before halftime.
Yeah.
I think those 2 things are really just did it for them because they weren't really moving the ball either. Like,
Yeah, Jordan Love looked like shit.
yeah, and there's 2 performances that I was really disappointed in, and it was Justin Herbert and Jordan Love. They had some really bad performances, I'm not going to lie.
I can't believe Justin Herbert played that bad.
Yeah. Justin Herbert, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we don't see that from him, and he's becoming a little bit like how Lamar Jackson was, where people are going to start being like, oh, he can't perform in the playoffs.
I mean, dude, he's had 2 pretty bad playoff showings.
Yeah, they're going to start saying
now
it.
for 2, you blew a 27-0 lead, and then you did that last game. It's like, I don't know how you rebound from here, but you're gonna have to somehow.
That was a horrible football game.
So
There was one good game all weekend, but that one was probably the worst.
I really liked the Chargers in that game, and like sitting here,
I think everybody did, dude.
In hindsight, it's like, how were the Chargers 3-point favorites on the road against Houston?
Yeah.
Like at best, that should have been like a pick. Like
I was gonna say, like, the Chargers were a good football team, definitely, but like they're not that good where they should be a
road
favorite like
in a
that.
playoff game.
Yeah.
No.
Against a 10-game division winner. Like,
Yeah.
You won 11 games. It's
And like the Chargers kind of beat up on a weak schedule. Like they beat like the Raiders and the Jaguars of the world. Like I don't think they really went out there and like I feel like anytime they played a good team, this was the result.
It was essentially the same schedule that the Chiefs played, and they never scored 30 points in a game the entire year, and they went 15-2. When all the other teams that never scored 30 points in a game won like 3 games all year.
I think that's kind of why they were such a surprise, because going into the year, like, you looked at their offense and you're like, this is just like a box of mismatched toys.
Yeah, they looked like a
like they really like if you really look at their offense, it's really stinky. Like they don't have any, like when Lad McConkey is like your number 1 kind of threat at the end of the year, what are we doing?
No.
Like you get rid of Mike Williams, like I get that he was. You get rid of Keenan Allen.
A lot of it was their cap situation where they couldn't afford to keep a lot of these guys. So
right, and they get J.K. Dobbins and they have like decent running backs for the year. Like they definitely outperformed, I would say, because I mean J.K. Dobbins was this like a career year for him? I mean I know he's been hurt like every single year.
Yeah, definitely.
But Quentin Johnston's not very good. Vlad McConkey's okay, but I mean he's a rookie, so like you can't really expect much from him. So I think in hindsight of the whole season, it's kind of surprising they even had 11 wins, if we're being completely honest. But yeah, they definitely had a weaker schedule.
Good coaching and good quarterback play will do that. You'll win more games than not. It's just crazy that like they didn't get those performances in the regular season, and then they just completely charger in the first game of the playoffs. Like they get there and they're just like, oh, we're the Los Angeles Chargers. We can't go too far. We can't, it's just like in their blood somehow.
Which I think this was kind of the ending that they probably should have had. Like
at best, they were losing.
They were never doing anything.
Yeah, they were losing this week. So,
but yeah, I don't know. Green Bay. I don't know what Green Bay does now. I mean, they kind of like they might not even. I mean, they probably need a few more pieces, but like they probably just reload and go again next year, eh?
Yeah. I don't think there's any need to do anything drastic there. Maybe another receiver, or maybe like a tight end or something. But
and you're just gonna have to hope that this was just a Cinderella year from the Vikings, and they're not gonna do this every single year.
Yeah, try and get yourself an established number one receiver.
I don't know what that game was Monday night, to be honest.
Dude, like again, it was just like a bad performance from a team that you thought was good,
but like that was so like the Vikings offensive line has played well all season, and then for them to do that in that game, it was like what? Like every drop back pass, there was someone in Sam Darnold's face, like. A second and a half, he had no time to throw. And yes, there was some where he held onto the ball too long, but like what he got sacked 9 times in that game, something crazy like that. Like
especially when you're not used to having to get rid of the ball that quick all season when your offensive line has been playing good. Like he's conditioned to that at this point.
Right. So it's one of those things where you have a game plan and then your fucking best unit on the field for most of the season just doesn't show up. Like my point being, I don't sit there and blame Sam Darnold solely for that loss.
Well, no, because a lot of those where he holds on to the ball too long, like in most situations, he's probably expecting to not get hit there.
Right.
He probably trusts his guys to have that extra second.
It's not like the Rams defense has been world beaters. Like they've been good. They've definitely.
There's been games where the defense has been horrible.
So I don't know.
That Buffalo game.
I'm kind of willing to give Sam Darnold not a full pass, but maybe somewhat of a pass for that performance. Like he cost himself a lot of money. That's the shitty part for him. He probably lost $60 million guaranteed in that game over a couple of years.
Dude.
Honestly,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as quick to say that just because I think what he did over the regular season is going to be what gets him something.
I disagree because their two biggest games of the season, they laid an egg. They went to Detroit and scored 9 points or 10 points, and then they went on the road to the Rams and scored 9 points. It's like they're gonna sit that, and it's a business, and they're gonna hold that over his head and say, you had a great season and we love you, but we got McCarthy in the background waiting if we need to, and we're not gonna overextend ourselves on Sam Darnold. You're gonna take what we're giving you, or you can go find somewhere else to play quarterback.
I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy though, just to like let him walk and then just to have it put all on JJ McCarthy. Like then they go back to the team that we thought they were going to be this year as the worst team in NFL history.
I think it's really obvious to do. I think they just franchise Darnold this year, and then they see what happens, and then if he can do it again next year, then you sign him to the contract. But I think you give him one more year on the franchise, and you see after that.
The Rams, I mean, and it's funny too that we spent the entire year being like, okay, when is Minnesota going to go back to being Minnesota again? And it took until this week for them to do it.
It took until I picked Minnesota 2 straight weeks for them to finally be bad. Because I loved them against Detroit, and then I took them last week too.
I can't remember if I picked them against Detroit. I may have. I think I may have.
I bought. It's like the Vikings were a stock, and I bought the top, and I got pumped and dumped. That's literally what happened. Like ridiculous.
You bought it was the Hawk Tua coin.
I bought it at the top, and then they rugged me.
Yep.
And then I lost everything. So thank you, Sam Darnold.
Dude. That was just so funny that like it went like all year we were just like fart Darnold, Minnesota's not good. And then finally
then
we
they go
turn
on the
it
road to
around.
Detroit in week 17, and I'm like, you know
And
what?
we're like,
This is
whoa.
the way.
And then they turned in back into the Minnesota Vikings.
Ugh,
It might have
of
just been
course.
you, Sal. It might have been you.
It always is me. I control a lot of these outcomes. If I put the last 2 months, I'm freaking.
Sal might be Vegas.
I could be. I genuinely could be.
You're like their undercover like decoy.
They're like, let's pretend that he loses every bet, but in all seriousness, we're just like giving him money.
But like you don't even like know that you're doing it. Like you're like a sleeper cell. Like you don't even know that you're doing it. You say something like I say something ridiculous on the podcast. You start speaking Russian one time.
They just have like a button, and they like make me think of like what they want me to think of to like spew it to everybody. They're like, Vikings this week, do it.
They come to you in your dreams. I mean, the Rams were
like,
pretty.
You got to convert Antonio on this one. You got to make it happen. Figure it out.
See, when we're in person, you can call it out more. When we're on Zoom, you can't really get the feel for it. So maybe they are.
It's funny because Antonio might be the opposite of you.
We can't see the teleprompter on the other side of Sal's phone.
That's true.
Like that is true. I've never seen Sal and Roger Goodell in the same room.
That's a hell of a point.
You've seen me and Danny Ainge in the same room.
I have, so I know that you're not Danny Ainge's sleeper cell.
Did you ever? I don't think we told this story on the pod. Did you ever hear about that story?
No.
Yeah,
we're at summer league basketball in Vegas, and Danny Ainge is sitting there just talking to somebody, whatever, like just normal conversation, just sitting in the stands. Nolan's grandpa looks at me and he goes, "Go over and say hi, like be a man."
Yeah, I was like, Sal was like, "Holy shit, that's Danny Ainge." I'm like, "You should go say hi. He's right there."
I was like, "I'm not doing it." He's like, "Go over there." He's like, "Go say hi." I'm like, "Oh, fine." So I walk over there. I was like, "Mr. Ainge, big fan, like huge Celtics fan. Nice to meet you." And he was like nice, but like he was so awkward. Like I don't know how to describe it.
You could tell he was thrown. Like he had never had a 17-year-old boy recognize him and like come up to him like that. There's no way.
That's pretty cool. He was like off the. He was just like off the pen or something. Like he looked at me and he was like, "Oh."
The look,
okay.
I'll never forget the look he gave Sal. He was kind of just like he was like, "Okay." He's like he was like taken aback. I think. I don't think he's like getting people coming up to him like that, especially not someone that like your age.
Did he shake your hand?
Yeah, he shook my hand, but
he wasn't a dick. He was just kind of taken aback.
Yeah,
the fact that like he had a 17-year-old boy coming up to shake his hand.
Hey, you know what? Maybe he went home and it was a nice story to tell his wife, and he was like, "How do your kid recognize me today?"
Yeah, he's nice. Like, kids never recognize me.
I would assume he does get people that come up to him, but like Nolan said, it's probably older people. I would think.
Yeah,
I'd say more middle to old dads go up to him and be like, "I remember watching you in the '80s." You know.
I did another good one. We're at Driver's Ed. It was me and Taylor actually. We're at Driver's Ed, and do you know where I'm going with this?
This is a good one. Yeah.
And I think it was Fermi Enfield High. I'm pretty sure it was Fermi Enfield High.
It was Fermi, yeah.
And Gino Ramo was there, like scouting or watching some game or whatever. And like I'm a UConn fan. Like I'm wearing a UConn shirt now. Like I'm a UConn fan. I like watching UConn basketball. Like whatever. So I'm there, and like he's walking around, and he's like about to leave, and he's shaking people's hands, and we're standing right outside the gym. And I'm waiting for him to walk by us to like say, "Oh, you know, Mr. Oriama, like big fan, like whatever, blah blah blah." I'm wearing a UNC hoodie. I'm wearing like a North Carolina. I'm like a fucking torso. One fucking day, I decided to wear a North Carolina hoodie. You know, Oriama's that fucking.
It's the full like baby blue UNC hoodie too.
It was a beautiful hoodie, bright baby blue.
Oh, dude, I had an awesome UNC jacket that I loved.
It was so funny that it wasn't even one of those like shirts that just says North Carolina in the blue. It was like the full logo, as big as this logo is on my shirt, in the whole baby blue. Like it was so UNC.
And it said basketball on it?
I'm pretty sure it just had like Tar Heel.
Oh, did it?
I thought it had like a basketball and something. I thought it had something to do with basketball.
I think I
just thought it was the UNC logo, just huge crest on the chest.
I've seen him wear that sweatshirt before. I think it's what you're saying.
It might have said basketball on it, but either way, it definitely said North Carolina. So it's like one of those things where it's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan." It's like, "Are you really, asshole? Like you're in a fucking North Carolina sweatshirt." Oh god.
Well, the time I mean, you did a lot better than I did. The time I saw LeBron, I couldn't even get a word out. Like
that's one of those where it's like, damn, like seeing like LeBron in person is a little crazy. Though.
It was 7th grade, so I think it was literally during like the Miami, like three-peat. I was in Vegas and we go to Caesars, and Caesars has like the Forum Shops, so it's like one big giant mall. And I always like to go to Nike because they have a huge Nike store there, and they always have sick shit in there. And I go in there, and there's like a bunch of people there, like a crowd, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And there's like a stage set up in the middle of the store. It's like literally a huge store. It's like 2 stories and everything. In the middle is like this huge thing, and they set up a stage, and it's like LeBron, and it's like I don't know what the thing is, like Play 360 or whatever that shit is, like for kids. And there's just a bunch of kids. There's literally like kids. Right, yeah. So there's kids like sitting in the middle of the Nike store, and LeBron's like talking to them on a stage. And I got there right as it was like wrapping up, and I'm like on the other side of the store, and it's like roped off, like a walkway is roped off into like this back door. And I was just standing there, and LeBron just walks right by me. Like he was so close to me, and I was literally like, dude, he is so fucking tall. And I didn't even say a word. I literally just like, and just watched him walk by. He like looked at me and just kept walking. And I remember like so vividly how he had to duck through the doorway. Like he's like, what the fuck is this little kid doing? Like I was literally just like,
I thought it was special needs. Like, okay, like
yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't even get like a high five. I mean, I didn't like go for a high five, so it's not like he was just gonna.
Bro, you probably could touch his dick.
My head was at hammer level, dude. He almost hit me in the forehead with it. It swings around, dude.
I mean, hey, we've all seen it on TV, right?
Yo, you remember that? Remember that when he flashed the camera? Everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
That was crazy.
Wasn't that like a Christmas Day game too? Like families are gathered around.
That was after they won the finals.
Oh, it was the finals.
Yeah,
his dick was
a Christmas Day game.
Like,
I didn't find out about it until a year later because when I was watching that game 7, I literally I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. I like speed walked to my room when there was like 15 seconds left and the game was over, and all the lights were off, and I just shut my eyes. And I
watched that game with Nolan. I watched the game with Nolan. I was the only one rooting for the Cavs in that game.
What a pussy.
Yeah, we were heavy Golden State.
Dude, I was like, I can't believe I have to go to school tomorrow.
Aw.
We bandwagon the Golden State Warriors so heavy.
I wanted to puke, dude. Well, that, and I also like, I don't know if there's a man on earth I hated more at that point in my life than LeBron James.
I mean, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but at the same time, like seeing the 3-1 come back, I'm like, I want him to just like finish this. And I also like
hated LeBron.
I really didn't like the Warriors. I don't know why. I think Draymond just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I never was a Warriors
very
guy.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
he was a dickhead, dude.
They had some of the best players of all time, bro. Like Mo Spates, legendary mid-range shot.
No, Shaun Livingston was the best player of all time.
Dude, Shaun Livingston was the most automatic I've ever seen.
I've ever seen.
His mid-range jumper would go in every single time.
So here's the thing: is like he would start backing down like a smaller point guard, and every time he was going to post fade because he does it every time. He never does anything else, and he would still do it, and he would still make it.
Him pulling up from the elbow is like literally like Michael Jordan in the finals. Like,
I was just gonna say he's better. He's better than Michael Jordan. Like, if we're being honest. Like,
dude, and then there was Leandro Barbosa.
He was really good too.
Festus Ezeli.
Yeah, I think that's it for our meeting.
Andrew Bogut was the man.
LeBron used to like get switched on Festus Ezeli and start laughing, and then just dunk on him.
Oh, dude, you know who why did Tristan Thompson always get like? Why was he specifically really good at getting offensive rebounds and nobody else? It was like,
he would get in a fist fight under the rim. And
but I wouldn't understand it because he would have like 4 defensive rebounds in a game, and then he'd have like 10 offensive rebounds in a game. It made no sense.
Remember Andrew Bogut?
I swear the ball would just bounce to him.
Was it Andrew Bogut? Who's the big man on the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah.
That year, yeah.
And then they had Zaza, bro.
And then remember Verjao, and he was playing in the finals, and he was getting a ring no matter which team won. Because he got traded halfway through the year.
That's actually crazy.
Isn't that awesome? Like, you're playing in the finals. You obviously care, like, you want your team to win, but you're like, I'm getting a ring no matter what.
The NBA is so bad now. It's so terrible.
So bad.
Terrible.
It's horrible, man.
I don't think I'll watch it. I don't think I'll watch a game this year.
It's starting to really become a topic too. And then like you go on ESPN and it's still 45% of what they talk about, and it's like, dude.
Remember in like 2007, it would be like 50% NFL, 25% MLB, 25% NBA. Like,
they talked a lot of baseball. Dude.
Yeah, like, can we not bring that back? Like, they talk about MLB like it's like hockey, and like, not to disparage hockey, but like hockey does no coverage on that.
Yeah,
shit.
dude. No,
like,
and baseball.
I mean, ever since the ESPN NHL deal, they cover NHL a lot more now. Probably more so.
Which they should.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Some of the shows that they talk about it on, like 2 of the guys are laughing and they're like, "Yeah, we don't know what we're talking about."
Yeah, I do like their crew of guys. I mean, Barry Melrose was huge, but they lost him obviously. Yeah. But I mean, Subban, they got Chelios, they got
Butcher Gross.
Yeah, who's the guy from the Rangers? I'm forgetting his name. Mark Messier. So I mean, they got they got a decent panel, but like, yeah, they kind of cover it like goofballs. I mean, Buccigross is a goofball, bro. Like, I can't take the guy serious. Like, he'll whenever he calls a game, I love him, dude. I love him. I love how enthusiastic he is, but like, it's so funny. He doesn't have like the announcer voice. He has like the quirky like dad voice. So like, every time I hear him like call a goal, I'm like, you're silly, man. Yeah, you're goofy. It's not like when Doc Emmerich was calling games, dude. I miss Doc Emmerich so bad. His voice was made to announce hockey. It was insane.
You guys are turning the ship around a little bit, right? You guys have been playing better lately, Bruins.
Yeah, we won 2 in a row. I really liked the game last night against Tampa. Played really physical. Swayman probably had one of his best games of the year.
Oh yeah, Nick and Cam were at that game.
Yeah, it was a really good game, really good physical game. Did it without McAvoy. Yeah, I mean, ever since that Nesson or WEI bullshit, they're kind of rolling. So, dude, the game against Florida was one of the most wild games. Didn't we talk? Oh, it might have been after you left. We talked about it on the podcast last week. Pretty much, Rich Keefe, who has been on WEI for the longest time, I think he played for, I don't know which sport. Maybe he played for one of the Boston teams. I don't remember if it was the Patriots or the Red Sox. I can't remember. He played somewhere, and he's now on WEI, which WEI is like...
Yeah, no, it's like Boston's WFAN.
I mean, Boston radio is literally the most degen thing. Like, they are just like... They go on and just complain for 12 hours on the radio.
I used to like it, though, sometimes.
Yeah, I used to like when they would have callers call in and you get like the most Boston accent and the guy's just like spewing, doesn't give a fuck. But like the guys that they have on these shows, and they've been getting killed in ratings. Like ever since the 98.5 Sports Hub thing came around, that was kind of their only competition. They came around and they've just been trashing them in ratings ever since. So I don't know if it's like a desperate ratings viral type thing that they're trying to do, but Rich Keefe came out and was, after the game that they lost, the 6th game in a row that they lost, he came out and was like, yeah, Pasta hates being in the room. He hates Marchand. He doesn't want to play with Marchand. And the next day, Marchand and Pasta were like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. That couldn't be further from the truth. And Marchand was like, this guy should not have a job. It was kind of funny. He was like gunning for his job. And yeah, ever since then, I mean, they beat Florida in overtime that night, and then they beat Tampa last night. So barely beat Florida, though. If you watch that game was crazy. Wild, like it was a wild bounce for Florida to tie it right before the third ended, and then they went into overtime. And right at the end of overtime, the Bruins got a crazy bounce into the net, and they won the game. So it was kind of nuts.
I mean, what do you know? The Bruins actually catch a break in fucking overtime for once.
Oh my God, it was so funny. I text Robert. Me and Robert just spew when the game's going on if we're both watching. And it's just funny texting back and forth when the game's going on. But All right, back to football. Should we get to this week?
No.
All right. Beautiful slate of games. It's the most wonderful time in the NFL calendar. And we start out 4:30.
You only have 3 weeks of games left. Sorry to cut you off. 3 more weeks
Listen,
of this.
why do we got to dampen it? Why do you got to bring in the negativity? We're not there yet. Come on now.
Pitchers and catchers report in a month. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, whatever. All right. We start Saturday, 4:30. The Houston Texans head to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Chiefs are minus 8.5 at home, over under 41.5. Low total.
I just want to be a normal person and take the Chiefs, but I can't.
Here we go. It's the sleeper cell, dude. The sleeper cell.
Like the easiest pick ever is Chiefs minus 8.5. Like it's so easy.
Yeah, it is. I'll take it.
Easy might be a stretch though. Could be.
These teams aren't comparable.
They're not.
This should be 10 points easy, but they don't beat anybody by 10. Like they just don't. And it's a playoff game. I'm taking the Texans plus 8.5, and it's a bad pick.
It's kind of crazy that how many one-score games that they've had, and they still make them an over 7-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, at some point they're gonna have to beat a team. I think it might be this week.
I mean, Chiefs money line, and like Chiefs to win by like 1 to 8 is probably about like within the number. They'll win, but not by more than 8.
I'm gonna take that 8.5 just because they're at home. They don't lose at home. They're off a bye. That's even more.
Yeah,
like,
and still, just the Texans aren't doing it for me here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I mean, it's the Chiefs.
Nobody in the world has the Texans in this jam. Like legit, nobody.
It's true. No one had them last week either.
Let's see. Does they have stats for this?
Imagine they win. The fuck? That'd be the most random thing ever.
It's not that.
It's not
absurd.
as
No,
lopsided. It's 79% of the money is on Kansas City, and then 54% of the bets is on Kansas City. So I don't know.
It's a lot closer than I would have thought.
Yeah.
I would have said 90-10.
There's a lot of small bets on Houston, which means that nobody's confident. People are just throwing $5 on Houston to cover that.
Throwing some darts.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable to take Houston here. I mean, Kansas City, you're right. They can't fucking cover a spread ever.
I mean, DeAndre Hopkins scoring is free in this jam, no?
It's got to be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have to get him involved for sure if they want to win and they want to beat him by more than 8.5.
I mean, former team playoff jam, like, just give me that all day. Plus, it's probably like plus 200, plus 250. I'll eat that up.
Does it, I mean, like, is it as magnitude if he went to another team before coming to Kansas City? Like,
I mean, it's not like a revenge game's not the right way to put it, but like like it's just the script, like, oh, former Texan DeAndre Hopkins with the touchdown.
Yeah,
oh
and like you
God.
could say revenge game because I feel like if it was Texans or Titans, I wouldn't say it was a revenge game, but because of like how he left Houston, like he definitely. I don't know if he has a problem with management, but he definitely had a problem with Bill O'Brien. We know that.
Oh yeah, he hated Bill O'Brien.
Yeah. Yeah. Chiefs, DeAndre Hopkins, anytime touchdown.
He was catching touchdowns
over receptions.
from Brock Osweiler, dude.
Oh,
gross.
I can't believe he got that contract. I was talking about that with Alan on the way to work this morning. Like,
is his car done? What's up with him?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. But I listened to Boomer and Gio and to work in the morning. Boomer Esiason, and they were talking about Sam Darnold because Gio's a Vikings fan, and Boomer's like, well, what kind of money do you think Darnold's gonna get after this year? And Gio's like, he's not getting anything. He's like, well, don't you remember Brock Osweiler? All the money he got.
That is funny.
That contract it was like 4 for $80, all guaranteed basically. It's like, what are you doing? You're getting.
I mean,
like,
we also didn't talk like Deshaun Watson. He might be out for next year now because he retore his ACL.
He's done. His career's over.
That is crazy, dude. That will go down as the worst contract in history of sports.
It's also the worst trade in the history of sports.
Yes. Yeah.
It is. It just genuinely is. At no point were they good with him.
No, never. He was hurt when they brought him in, and then he was, then he had all the freaking, off the field things, and then he comes back and tears his ACL, and they're dog shit the entire time.
With that, maybe they do draft a quarterback.
They'll draft Cam Ward.
I saw today that
he's a Brown for sure.
That the Giants prefer Shador, and I'm like, fucking God, dude.
You're not deading him. It doesn't matter.
I hope not.
You're deading Travis Hunter.
I don't think
it doesn't excite me.
What would you want? What would you want, Antonio?
I want Cam Ward.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Make it happen.
No, you don't. You don't want Cam. That's not a Giants quarterback. Cam Ward is not a Giants quarterback.
I swear a few weeks ago you were like, he's just a Giants.
No.
He's Daniel Jones in a different font.
I'm saying a successful. He might look like a Giants quarterback. He's not going to be a successful Giants quarterback.
You only say that because he looks like Daniel Jones. Like he is Daniel Jones, kind of.
Arch Manning is the ultimate prize. You have to keep your eyes on the prize.
No shit, man. I don't think it's going to happen.
So get Travis Hunter.
You get Travis Hunter
again.
Right. You get Travis Hunter. You guys are gonna suck again, and then you get Arch Manning. You really want that. You want that.
I do, but I also like. I'm gonna be 30 next time my team's good. That's just a reality.
Hey, listen, we're in the same boat with you. Our team's not gonna be good for a couple more years.
You ruined the perfect season, bro, and you're sitting here complaining like. And you beat him again. You've won 2. You've seen 2 in your life. Imagine being a Jets fan. They put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, the fact that the Giants got 2 Super Bowls.
There's kids in other households that have to watch the New York Jets play football and be fans of them. Appreciate what you have.
And the Browns. Think of all the Browns fans out there.
Yeah, fuck, dude. You lost the fucking lottery. Like, don't get born there.
That's so
or get
funny,
birthed
dude.
into another family that roots for different teams. I don't know.
There. Don't be born there, you idiot.
Or you could be like a dirty Eagles fan, like.
That's better than being a Jets fan.
Yeah,
Eagles fan is definitely better than a Jets fan. It's way more fun to be an Eagles fan.
Yeah, way more fun.
They hate everything. They're
scumbags. They're scumbags. It's in their nature. But
and batteries.
That's crazy.
That was the first Santa incident. That was at a Phillies game. Like back in the 70s. People got free something when they like walked in that. I think because people used to bring their portable radios to the game all the time way back in the day. So I think what it was people just started chucking batteries at Santa Claus.
Hell yeah, dude.
At the Phillies game.
But imagine being there. How fun would it be? How fun would it be to chuck a battery on the field?
Yeah.
How fun would that be? You got to think about it, dude. It's such scumbag shit, but while you're in it, if you're there, you're like, this is awesome. Like, I one time was at a Red Sox game, and I guess this guy was like a bachelor, like about to get married, so that like his buddies took him to a Red Sox game. We're in like the bleacher seats at Fenway, and I don't know if he lost a bet or something, but he had to be in full Yankees gear, and he comes and he is walking up the steps, and people just start chucking popcorn at him. And I started chucking popcorn at him, and I was like 8 years old. That was the time of my life. Just chucking popcorn at a random guy because he's wearing Yankees shit.
I've never had an experience like that at Fenway Park.
Me neither. Until that,
I think it's all like lore. Like I don't think anything actually happens.
I don't know, dude. My dad got.
I don't know. I witnessed that.
My dad got kicked out of Fenway when he was younger because he got up and got in the face of somebody that was throwing gum in my mom's hair. That's fucked. That's like if that was on video, dude, that's like this Eagles fan shit.
People are so fucked. I mean, we see it every week, bro. We see it every week. We see these videos on Twitter of people just getting into brawls in like the fucking bleachers of games. It happens all the time. The guy at freaking Gillette Stadium almost fucking died. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that actually.
It's like shit like that. Like that shit definitely happens all the time. It's honestly hilarious though when you think like the roots. You're like, holy shit, you're going into a game just being like, I'm gonna get hammered and get into a fight. That's what I'm gonna do instead of just enjoy the game.
Step number 1 is don't get that hammered at a game like that. Like
people get hammered at games. I'm like, how do you get out of here?
People get blitzed at those shows.
Yeah, dude, then you gotta sit in traffic on the way out.
Then you gotta figure out how to get out, dude. You know how like hard getting out is.
I love how pulling up to the stadium, it's just like, oh, this is so easy, like blah blah blah, and then you're like fighting 30,000 people to get out of the stadium.
Fenway is tough. Fenway is hard to get in and out of.
Dude, there's not even a parking lot.
I was just gonna say,
Fenway's fine.
I've never driven to Fenway. I only take the TM. I think ever.
I parked blocks away and just walked there.
My mom would park at the Prudential Center and we would walk, which is a pretty far walk. It's
it's a couple miles actually.
There's like a Target somewhere near there that we parked at, and then just walked.
I mean, if you go to Yankee Stadium to get in and out of there is insane.
I mean, that too. The main garage is terrible, the one that's in the ground for Yankee Stadium, but the ones on the side that are like multiple stories high are not bad. But I take the train.
They put handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit on you because it's so just like gray and drab in there.
Yeah, as soon as you get one of those jail meals when you walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the milk carton.
It's like nice there, but it's just so like blah. Like
what, Yankee
Stadium? Bland. It's so bland, but it's just like everything. The old one had a lot more.
Yeah, the old one had a lot more personality.
The new one just feels like those like renovated McDonald's that are all like the same like gray color. Like it's just like it's like the industrial ballpark, like the like copy paste ballpark.
Yeah.
I will say like the new stadiums now with like all this technology and stuff are kind of sick. Like when I did the tour of SoFi, it was sick. I don't know what it's like to like be at a game there, but like it is sick. Like the open air thing. Like, they got, like, restaurants and shit everywhere. The seats are nice.
Who remembers?
Dude, Heinz Field was so cool. It was so cool. Murders MetLife. And it had, like, a giant, like, open area with a bunch of restaurants. It was crazy.
Who remembers what I said about Shadur and Deion Sanders joining the Cowboys 2 months ago? And Nolan called me crazy.
It's kind of crazy.
Oh, I don't think that's crazy.
Nolan was like, "There's no chance that's happening."
I mean, as each day goes, it starts to be more and more of a possibility.
I don't think he wants to take orders like that from Jerry, though.
I don't think it's Dallas. I think the Giants could do that.
I don't think he's gonna, Antonio. I think if he goes there, he's gonna be like, "Look, Jerry, stay up in the fucking." He's played for him before. He's gonna say, "Stay up in the booth." And fucking fuck off. Like,
I mean, if there was anyone to stand up to him, it would be him.
If there's any situation where Jerry backs off, maybe it's that, because Jerry's like, whatever's going to make the Cowboys the center of attention, and what's going to make the Cowboys the center of attention more right now than Deion Sanders going there as coach?
It's the perfect brand fit. Former Cowboy, all-time great, with his son quarterback. It's a match made in heaven. And I'm not saying it's a lot to happen, but you're telling me they can't trade Dak for a couple picks and then trade those picks to Tennessee? Or if Tennessee wants Dak for whatever reason, go up and trade for him?
I could so see him on the Titans, dude. He's such a Titan.
That's Tony. Imagine if I told you 2 years ago Tony Pollard and Dak Prescott were on the Titans. You'd be like, "What the fuck? What happened?"
Bro, Mike would love that.
He would think they're the. There would be 10 Super Bowl futures in 2 minutes.
I feel like the Browns could use Dak Prescott.
There's a lot of teams that could use Dak Prescott. The problem with Dak Prescott is you can't pay a B quarterback money. That's like the number one sin of the NFL. And
now, I mean, he can't really ask for it now.
Maybe he's a Raider.
He has it.
Yeah, but that is true. But who's gonna pick it up?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, so what's his market? How do you trade him? Type of thing. Like,
because nobody wants that contract.
You'd have to find the perfect team for him, and I really don't know what the perfect. I'd have to sit here and really think about it for a little bit to come up with the perfect team. But
I feel like the Jets would probably be the only ones to like.
The Jets would be a decent pick. I won't.
If
lie
they
about
could
the,
hold on,
the
if they could
Colts.
hold on to Devontae and Garrett Wilson, but it sounds like Garrett Wilson wants out of there,
Yeah.
and there's no way Devontae Adams
I don't know,
stays
dude.
unless they have a quarterback.
If Dak went to the Jets, he'd be target number 1 day 1 he got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that would be an instant way for them to be pretty decent right away.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree.
Rex Ryan and Dak Prescott would be the funniest QB
Yeah, no,
head coach partnership ever.
They already said they're out on Rex.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
So who do the Jets get? Who do the Cowboys get?
Cowboy. I just, if my money's being put down, I'm saying Dion. I feel like it's too perfect not to happen. Because why
Okay,
do you fire
but
you don't fire McCarthy without a backup plan and a surefire backup plan. So if it's not Dion, the only other option I can see is Kellen Moore. But like that's so like, ugh, like
I feel like Kellen Moore makes sense, but
Kellen Moore makes sense. But then it's like, all right, so you let him walk away for 2 years, to then bring him back and say now you're the head guy here, and now you're just
because
like
I don't know where does Ben Johnson go now?
the Bears
Jets.
still. I think he's not going to the Jets. He's
The
going
Bears,
to the Bears.
the Bears
He
would
has
make
to.
sense. I mean,
Is Mike McCarthy gonna go to the Jets and reunite with Rodgers?
oh my
Ugh.
God, that would be the grossest thing
Ugh.
ever. That
Pat
I
disease.
would immediately bet on them to have the worst record next year. That would be the easiest bet I've ever placed.
You know who loves Mike McCarthy?
Who?
Colin Cowherd.
Oh yeah, he does.
He's like,
Oh,
you're
dude.
gonna fire your coach that won you 12 games. Good luck. It's like he fucking sucks, man. Like,
They
what?
were talking about head coaches on WFAN this morning for the Jets, and Boomer said something about Matt Nagy, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Ew. It's
like,
funny.
That's horrible.
It's funny because the last 2 seasons for Mahomes have been his 2 worst, and those are the 2 years that Nagy's been the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
It's like that makes sense.
I think Ben Johnson, I don't know, Cliff Kingsbury probably wants to be.
He probably has 1 more year as a coordinator, and then if they're good again next year, then he probably gets a head coaching job again.
But if he gets what if he got an offer this year? Would he not take it?
Depends where. I don't think he's just like he's not like jumping ship to go to like the Raiders. I don't think, but maybe.
I don't think anyone wants to go to the Raiders. I mean, let's say like the Bears wanted him. Would he go to the Bears?
Probably. If he really believes in Caleb, yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah. I'm excited about Mike Vrabel and the Patriots, though. I mean, I think like
That
we
was my
argued about it
number one.
last week, but
Yeah,
I would
that
have
was-
rather had Ben Johnson. But I'm happy that they got Mike Vrabel.
Seems like destiny.
Yeah, and we were saying that last year before they got Gerard Mayo that Mike Vrabel would be the perfect replacement.
Forget last year. You
And
guys
then-
were talking about that like 3 years ago, 4
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like it seemed like the stars were aligning before they announced that Gerard Mayo was going to be like. Remember, he got fired from the Titans, like had a bad breakup, and like he almost like didn't care. So we were like, oh, he definitely has the Patriots lined up already. And then he was at that thing, that Hall of Fame induction thing that they did. He was there getting all buddy with Mr. Kraft. We were like, and then they came out like a day later. They're like, yeah, Gerard Mayo's our coach, and we've had that in place for like 2 years. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, you're doing Belichick a solid, so I guess it makes sense. He won you 6 Super Bowls, so he was the handpicked successor for the last almost 10 years, I think. Like, not in writing, but Bill always like thought of Gerard as the next coach. So I don't know. One of those things that, in hindsight, it looks dumb, but I guess maybe he thought Gerard had the potential to be the next great coach. When in all reality, it was probably Vrabel the whole time. But
Yeah, I think we just took a gap year.
yeah, it happened.
We took a gap year, got a top 5 pick, and now the real work starts.
I'll gladly
we'll
have
see.
Jalen Carter. I'll take Jalen Carter on the team, no problem.
Okay. I like that.
See what happens though.
All right. Next game. Saturday night. The Washington Commanders head to Detroit to take on the Lions. Lions are minus 9.5, over under 55.5.
Oh, I'm sorry. We just talked about. I know we just picked the Chiefs game. I forgot. JR said, "Shout me out on the show. Chiefs is the mega whale bet of the millennium."
Okay,
minus
so
3.5.
Texans are winning. Okay.
All right. We got you, JR.
All right.
Mega whale.
The Lions. Talk about a mega whale. The Lions. They're a freight train, but the Commanders, they're playing good. I love Jaden Daniels, man.
The number one pick easily in this game is over 55.5. This is a shootout if I've ever seen one.
You know what Jaden Daniels is really good at? Like, everyone talks about how he's running, his escapability, all that good stuff. He is really good at throwing, like, deep balls. He's very accurate at throwing deep balls on the sideline.
The one to McLaurin was really good on the left
Like,
sideline.
and I've watched them the whole year. He hits on those a good amount of the time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, when he was at LSU, that guy was trucking the ball over the field. Like that was.
Yes.
I feel like that was most of his highlights, was just winding up and airing the ball out.
They don't need this, but if they had one more receiver, their offense would be really unstoppable. Like if they had I don't know. Like if they had Neighbors there, not saying that would be but if they had Neighbors there,
a good
offense
wide
would be
receiver
ridiculous.
duo for them would be sick.
Yeah, just to have someone offset McLaurin, it would be disgusting.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins vibe. We need that. We need a supporting cast member.
I'm taking the Commander spread here. I think they can keep this close.
What is the spread?
9.5.
9.5.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think this might be a really good game.
I don't think this is a pumping by any means. And I honestly could see this game coming down to who has the ball last. And I'm not sitting here saying I like Washington to win the game, but if they're down 6 with a minute and a half left with the ball, I wouldn't be shocked either with a chance to win it. So I like the points here. I think almost 10 is a little crazy in this game.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you guys. I do think the Commanders cover the spread. I do not think that they win. I think that the one thing about this game is I feel like the Commanders are the Lions when they got Dan Campbell. It's like they're good, but they're not there yet. Like they haven't put it fully together. And one of the things that you have when you have experience in the playoffs is you know how to finish games and you know how to play in the fourth quarter. I don't think the Commanders have that yet. So I have a feeling like this game is going to be very close. And then in the fourth quarter, the Commanders are going to have a crazy mistake and it might cost them the game. That's kind of like my vibe on this game. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that they keep it close, definitely within that.
I think the game is close most of the game, and I'm not even saying that the last drive. I just think that somehow in the end, Detroit's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And win it. Not comfortably score wise, but I don't know if I anticipate a crazy ending in this game, but I think it'll be a really good game.
I don't know if this sounds dumb, but I can't see Philly on the road at Detroit for the NFC Championship game. I think that makes 0 sense in my mind. I don't know why.
Okay.
I understand.
So do you want me to get to the next game?
Because I only say that because I could picture Eagles Lions at Philadelphia. That makes sense in my mind. But Eagles Lions at Detroit, it hurts my I can't fathom that game. That game doesn't make sense. It probably is that, but at the same time, it's why is Philly going to Detroit? It just, for some reason, I have a mental block for that one. I don't know.
When you tell your kids about this playoffs, and you're like, yeah, and when Philly went to Detroit for the NFC Championship, your kid's gonna be like, hold on.
What?
Where did Philly play for the NFC Championship?
So if
Detroit wins, Dad's drinking again.
If Detroit wins this game, I'm not to tip my hand for the next game, but I could see the Rams winning in Philly. But that's all I'm saying. So
okay, well, let's get to it then. The Rams head to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. The spread is Eagles minus 6.5, over under 44.5.
If the Commanders win this game, you put everything you own on the Philadelphia Eagles. That's all I'm gonna say.
I agree. because I could definitely picture the Rams playing the Lions next week. And if the Eagles go,
that's perfect.
and if the Eagles play the game that they played against Green Bay in this game, they're not going to get off the hook.
Matthew Stafford is 5-1 in the playoffs under Sean McVay. His only loss was to why am I blanking right now?
Last year.
To Detroit. His only loss is to Detroit. Like,
so the revenge stage is set.
I mean, dude, I bet Goff just owns their pussy. I mean,
so
I'm taking the Rams. I like the Rams.
On the inverse, if Detroit wins and blows the Commanders out, you put everything on the Rams.
I think you take the Rams. Yeah,
I do too, because I honestly don't see a scenario here where the Eagles blow the Rams out. I really don't.
No, I don't either.
That doesn't really happen to the Rams. When there's a high-scoring game, usually they're still in it. Like, they're not normally.
The crazy thing is we saw this game like week 12 or week 13, and Saquon ran all over them. Like, it was not a game. Like, the game was over like 4 minutes into the second half.
So that makes me like the Rams even more.
I mean, dude, the Rams had quite a few games where they looked like
anytime
shit
a team with a good coach plays you twice, it's never the same result. So I like the Rams in this game. I think I don't know. The other thing too is, like, I don't know, the Rams, they have all the ingredients to be like a Cinderella type deal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
I could see them beating anybody, but I could also see them losing to anybody. It's kind of like how we were talking about the Bengals, but they are kind of like the Bengals, if like you think about it.
A little bit, yeah.
Just like way better coaching.
Yeah. Cooper Kupp, everything.
Yeah.
Touchdown yards, everything. Catches, everything.
Now we are supposed to get some snow on Sunday. This could be a snow game. Philly's not too far from us.
Makes me not like the Rams, but
I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see as we get closer. But
I feel like it won't happen.
Okay.
Snow.
I think we might get an opportunity for 2 snow games.
He said it won't. Now it's not gonna. The storm just moved 10 inches to the right.
Listen,
he knows.
We know I love a snow game. I don't want this to be a snow game. I know. Yeah. I want Philly to lose.
You want Buffalo, Baltimore to be a snow game?
Yeah, I do. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, you do.
All right, let's get to that one. Come on, that's the main course. That's the main event.
All right, the finale. The Baltimore Rams. The Baltimore Ravens head to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are plus 1.5 at home, over under 51.5.
Antonio, I just
how are the Bills not favored in this game?
I want Antonio to take a walk with me for a second. What are the Buffalo Bills most known for in their franchise history? What's like the thing? What's like the one thing?
The losing
Super Bowls.
And how many did they lose in a row?
4.
Okay. Their last 5 trips to the playoffs, how many times have they lost to the Chiefs?
Twice. Is it
3?
Twice?
3 times.
Oh,
3 times?
Fuck.
So if they get to the next round,
4 times it drops.
Yep.
Jesus, dude.
So I'm just saying, if they win this week, they're getting their shit kicked next week, because that's just how it works.
I mean, do they get their shit kicked?
They're losing to the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, if all their games are close.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, dude, the last Bills Super Bowl, they just kind of laid down against the Cowboys. Like, each loss got worse.
Yeah.
I feel like we need the Bills to win, because I feel like the Bills are the only team that can beat the Chiefs.
Oh, I think Baltimore can beat the Chiefs.
Baltimore can beat the Chiefs.
They can beat the Chiefs, Nolan.
I mean, I don't want to be skewed because they played the Steelers, and the Steelers have been playing like shit. But when I was watching the Ravens last week, in my head, I'm thinking, who's beating this? If they get this,
how are you stopping Derrick Henry? You can't stop him.
Ridiculous.
You cannot stop him.
If they score first, dude. Oh,
yeah.
Good luck.
I'm taking
Buffalo. You can't
Buffalo,
picture Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the Super Bowl, Nolan. Come on.
I really can't. I don't know why.
I can picture the two of them next to each other lifting the trophy together.
I don't know why I can't, dude. And talk about this game as being just like a heartbreaker for whichever team loses.
Yeah.
If there's one team in the league that I think can get back in a game quick against Baltimore if they're down, it's Buffalo.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it.
So I had this thought earlier in the week too. What was the huge storyline over the offseason? Nobody wants to pay the running backs, and the running backs don't matter, and blah blah
And that's
blah.
why it's going to be Eagles Ravens. Yeah, I mean,
It could.
I've thought about that quite a bit. I'm not going to pick it because I don't like both those teams, and I really hate the Eagles.
If it gets to next week and the Eagles and the Ravens are both in, those are probably my picks.
For the
I
Super Bowl.
love that Sal started this by saying
I
that the Bills
agree.
have to lose to the Chiefs, and then the whole time he's just like, the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl.
No, but if they get to next week, that's the story. They're gonna lose to a fourth time to Kansas City.
I don't know. I think if the Bills can get there, I think this is the time.
You think they finally break through?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you picking? What's your pick? What's
Buffalo.
your pick?
I picked Buffalo.
Antonio's taking Buffalo?
So Buffalo's the underdog, huh?
Yeah.
I was really hoping that Baltimore was the underdog so I could take the Baltimore spread and say the Bills win by like 1 or 2. But
It's a very, very interesting line. I will say that.
I think the line's telling you all you need to know.
Listen, I'm not shocked. I didn't know that Baltimore was favored. I didn't expect it, but I'm really not shocked after watching.
It's one of two things. Either the line is telegraphing the fact that the Ravens are winning, or they're going to spend all weekend letting the public get their money and just to have it taken away by people betting on the Ravens.
I just think that like if DeMar Hamlin is going to come up and make a tackle on Derrick Henry 5 or 10 times a game, like
Jesus.
I'll tip my cap. Like I'm not even trying to be fun. Bro, like that's a mismatch. Like that's men against boys out there. Like
I just think Buffalo's a real knack, especially at home, to just control the game in the possession game. And I think that they obviously have enough power to turn the ball over against the Ravens. And I think that they're just going to control the possession game.
This is also a revenge game from 3 or 4 postseasons ago because I remember both you were on. This is copy and paste. Both of you were on Buffalo, and I said my most confident pick, maybe of the year, was Baltimore to win that game. And Lamar threw a pick six right before halftime, like with like 2 minutes to go at the end of the half, and they ended up losing like 17-3 or some shit. So
that's what I mean. Like the last few years, like it's been Lamar plays. Like years ago, it used to be like Lamar plays one game in the playoffs. He plays like shit and they're done. Lately, it's been he plays really good one game and then kind of lays an egg in the second game.
I think it's just time for them. I think over the Bills, it's their time. Like I know the Bills have had a really good season and good story and like all that shit, but like
this is where I'm not saying Lamar blows the game and plays like crap, but I could see a bad Lamar mistake.
No, I agree. I'm just sitting here saying like the great equalizer is Derrick Henry. Like that, nobody else has him. Like
I think
he's a monster.
I think too the thing that's interesting about this game is, we've seen how Kansas City kind of regressed this year. It's so crazy to say that, but that they only lost one game, and we're saying that. But like play wise, they definitely have regressed since other years that we've seen them be very good. And if one of these teams, if whoever wins this game goes and beats the Chiefs and ends up winning the Super Bowl, I feel like this game is going to be the start of a vicious rivalry. Like you think like if the Chiefs are going to do the Patriots thing where they take a little bit off and not win for, I don't know, 8 years or something like that, it's going to be between these two teams for the next. Well,
if it's storyline, it's like it would be the two like running quarterbacks that also have a completely different style of kind of running around.
Who would be the Peyton Manning of this generation? Is it Lamar or is it Josh Allen?
I mean, it seems like Josh Allen should be, but I don't know. It could be either one.
Yeah.
One of these teams is going to have to win this year for that to be the case. The whole thing.
Ben Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowls or 3? He only has 2, right?
2.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If he had 3, I would have thrown up a little bit.
Yeah, he went to 3. That's when they lost to the Packers.
They got pumped by the Packers that game.
The Packers were the last seed in the playoffs that year.
Go back and watch that game, and every throw Aaron Rodgers makes, it looks like it's like on 2 times speed. Like he throws the ball.
Oh
like,
yeah, dude. He
like
was
the
on
way
another level.
Compared to like how he looks now.
Just the zip he had, the arm strength he had on all those passes was retarded. Like,
yeah, I mean that was always his thing coming out, was that he was kind of like, I don't know, Mahomes-esque before, like when Mahomes was making those crazy angle like throws and stuff and everyone was sucking his dick. Like that's kind of what Aaron Rodgers was at first.
When Mahomes started going crazy, my thought process was, oh, this is a taller, even more athletic Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, over the years we've just gotten more and more athletic iterations of what that looks like.
I hate the Chiefs so much. I want nothing more than them to not make the Super Bowl. I'd be so happy. I just like that.
I don't think that they do, bro. I'm gonna stick to my guns until they win. Until I see them lift the Lombardi Trophy, I will be sticking to my guns, saying that they are not good enough to win a Super Bowl this year. They are not.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying because like we do this every year, and we're like, they're not.
Oh my god, dude, I'm having a flashback to last year, me saying the exact same thing. But this year, I am so sure of it. I'm so sure of it. They win another Super Bowl, it's fucking crazy. It's going to be bad for the NFL. Roger Goodell, if you're listening, we know you're about your pockets.
There could be hostages in the back of every NFL team's like fucking building, and people would still watch the NFL.
I do love that they've kind of softened on the Taylor Swift thing, though. We're gonna see her this week, probably.
Oh, they'll break her out for sure.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are gonna need it for sure.
What's everyone's pick this week? Because I haven't decided mine yet. My pick one.
I have mine. I was the only one that got a win last week. You two got yours wrong.
I don't know why I went with the Chargers, but whatever.
I think that was a decent pick, like before the game for sure.
Yeah. It was between them and the Commanders, and of course I fucking picked the wrong one.
Mine is the under in the Baltimore and Buffalo game, under 51.5.
Wow.
I'll just throw it out there.
I think I got Washington plus the 9.
Okay. Come on, Sal.
Baltimore.
Okay. Baltimore minus 1.5. Hold on, let me write this down.
They're winning, Antonio. I don't want that face. Don't give me that face. The disappointed dad face.
Oh no, I had a feeling you were gonna pick them. Listen, I don't hate that pick, dude. I don't. Again, like what I saw the Ravens do last week is like.
It's between that or the over in the Commanders Jam. There's gonna be 600 points in that Commanders Jam.
Yeah, it's 55.5 in a playoff
maybe
game.
Detroit gets into one of those games that are like 48-44 for the fucking.
I would love that.
This year.
Realistically, what's the lowest score in that game? Is 20-17 or like 21-24? Like there's
24-21 was.
There's at least 45, and I know you don't get fucking credit for that, but like it should be close to the total at the worst. Like that game's probably 38-30 or 38-31 Detroit in my mind.
Which I am all for, because I feel like the Chiefs game is going to be a stinker, like every Chiefs game is.
It'd be like 16-7 in the third quarter, and you're just gonna be like, ugh. Like,
yeah, you're gonna be like, we're doing this again.
Yeah.
It was like when I watched the Chiefs play the Raiders during like when the Raiders almost beat them, and like that dumb play that happened at the end of the game. That was the most mad I've been watching a game. That I can remember.
How long has this been going for? I feel like we've gone like pretty long, or am I just?
We're a little over an hour.
About an hour.
No, I thought it was like an hour 15 or hour 20.
Yeah, is there anything else that we want to catch up on?
DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. That's all I.
Oh yeah, what's your touchdown score, Antonio? Stop throwing up gang signs.
Kareem Hunt.
He surprises me every time with the most Antonio pick, and that was the most Antonio pick.
Who was it last week? Did you say Russell Wilson?
I said Russell Wilson's rushing touchdown.
Oh.
I don't remember what mine was. I never remember our touchdown picks.
I said Jefferson, and I literally lost a parlay. That was the only leg to lose was Jefferson Storian, so that was fun.
Let me write him down so I remember. So Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt's crazy.
And Sal's got
I mean,
Hopkins.
dude, he was on that fantasy team, and then he ended up kicking that girl, and in comes Damian Williams to
Who I
save
had
my ass.
who I had in my bench, I thought. No? That I had whoever the other guy was, I had the wrong
Oh
guy.
yeah. Oh yes.
I have Puka Nacua, by the way.
What?
I think he gets a touchdown for sure.
All right, I got nothing else. If you guys got anything?
You got anything, Antonio? Look at you.
CJ Anderson touchdown.
Ew. It's not
The
snowing, and
Broncos?
Nolan didn't just get kicked out of my house for drinking downstairs, so no, it won't be CJ Anderson. Worst 24-hour. That was the worst day of my life.
The overtime game was so infuriating.
I feel like I heard about no one getting kicked out. I don't know, but I'm not familiar with this story.
I did get kicked. Well, I mean, it was like the morning after the sleepover.
Long story short, I had people drink at my house. My mom found out. Nolan had to leave, and then blah, blah, blah. And then I was never seen.
Sal got sent to Rikers for 6 months.
I got sent to the gulag, and then that night I'm sitting there watching the Patriots. Gronk tears his ACL, and then CJ Anderson runs for a touchdown in overtime. And I'm like, this is the best.
In the snow game, Brock Osweiler beats Tom Brady in primetime. We're like, what?
Gronk also got a bad injury that game.
He tore his ACL. He got nailed over the middle by whoever the safety was.
Yeah.
Dude, Gronk used to get pummeled, dude.
I don't know that I've ever gone to bed more mad than I was that night, honestly. I was like, I just fucking sat up until 11:30, watched this fucking fatty score a touchdown to walk it off in the end zone. And I don't even think I had a phone for a little bit. I had no phone, no Xbox. I could barely watch TV. I could only watch because the Patriots were on. And I literally had to go to school, come home every day for like 3 months, like nothing else. Like it was miserable.
Yeah, but I just remember like watching Gronk, and everyone would always be like, he's hurt all the time. It's like, dude, do you ever watch him? He gets hit so fucking hard. And that was when like he would get nailed and like never get called there was never a penalty called on him because he was so big.
They always just went after his knees. That was the problem.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and his like arm and shoulder were bad. Like
then he had the robo arm for a little bit.
He had the bionic arm for a while. All right. Till next time, gentlemen.
Only a couple more of these left.
Only a couple more of these left for the NFL season, and then we can do some fun ones. Yeah. And then March Madness is right around the corner.
We'll fill out the worst bracket ever done.
We will fill out the worst bracket of all time. We'll pick the winner. They'll lose on the first day. And yeah. Although we did it last year, and I think we did a little bit better.
I think we probably did well last year.
We probably just were like, all right, UConn.
Yeah, like everyone else did. They were the most picked team, and I'm so shocked that they won. When I saw that, before the tournament started, I was like, UConn is not making it.
I mean, in our pool, Antonio, like legit, everybody and their mother had UConn, right? Like
it was legit, like 66% of all the brackets had UConn winning.
I do the same thing every year. I always am like 5, 6, or 7, and then I have one of the worst teams in the Final Four. Like I have like Arizona, and then every year Antonio's like, well, West Coast team can't make the Final Four because they suck and they're bad at basketball. And then like I have to watch like Arizona lose by 30 in the Elite Eight. I'm just like, yeah, of course.
That was the one 2 years ago that we made, and we had Arizona winning, and they got dumped in the first round.
I was in on that.
Ugh,
crazy. So ETA in person, do we have that figured out, or
I will? I'm gonna figure it out because the plans. I don't know. We'll figure it out. My hope is to have it done by the time the next NFL season starts.
All right, I like that.
I think that's appropriate.
And if not, then I'll figure something out. I'll jerry rig something up.
Me and Antonio should have better kissing on the couch.
Yeah.
I don't like this. He's making me uncomfortable.
I enjoyed making out when we would do this.
I'm leaving because he's scaring me.
Okay. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye.